Hi, and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, and no, that was not a typo in the introduction, and you will find out soon what it's all about. We are going to be shifting the cycle of health. I think that's a legitimate... Well, we'll find out more about that in a minute. First, I want to thank you for tuning in this evening. If you have a question or a suggestion for a future topic, please feel free to email me at talk@bcattv.org. I would like to take care of, as always, a few little housekeeping things. I want to thank the crew for this evening. Varys Connolly, who's one of the staff members here, helps us make sure all of us volunteers know what we're doing and have a successful experience at BCAT. So thank you, Varys. And our two wonderful volunteers for this evening, Jessie O'Regan and Gwyneth McNamee, are high school students who are also in BHS TV, which is one of the after-school clubs here. And they've given up their Wednesday evening to come and hang out at BCAT. And now it's just a formality. I would like to thank my husband, Paul, for staying home for Daddy Date Night, even though the kids aren't there. But anyway, there are the cats, so thank you, Paul. And now I'm going to find all about well-being with my wonderful guest, Kris Fabbri.
Yes.
Fabbri, who is the founder of Shift, with the semicolon, which kind of leads me into the whole mental health thing. But we'll get to that in a minute. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You know, not that you're not doing anything important this week other than opening a business. Yeah. So, before we get into Shift and the mission and the goals, both for the business as well as your personal dream, I guess, is a good... Tell us about yourself, where you grew up, how you came to the Burlington area, and then we'll slowly get into the whole fitness and wellness aspect.
Sure. So grew up in New York, just outside the Bronx.
Fun.
I know. So my family is not thrilled that I am now a Red Sox fan coming from Yankees territory.
Oh my goodness, they're still talking to you?
Yeah, some of them. And then, funny enough, like right out of a coming of age story, we moved to Vermont when I hit middle school. So this big Italian family from New York, up and moved to Vermont and, you know, lived a completely different lifestyle there.
Yeah, because there aren't any big cities in Vermont.
No. So we lived up there, and then I came down to the Boston area for college, met my husband, and stayed ever since. We found Burlington when we were looking to buy a house, and this is before Burlington really got built up.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we bought at a good time, and then just kind of fell in love with the community, and yeah.
It's a great place.
It is. It's a great place. Can't leave. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to, so yeah.
Excellent. What made you, I'm not sure what you're comfortable sharing, but, what did you study in college, and how did you get involved in wellness? Is it wellness or fitness, or both?
Both. I don't think you can really separate them, honestly. Okay. So in college I studied psychology, biopsychology. I actually worked in a psychopharmacology lab.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So really I like to focus on brain science and kind of what's going on in the mind that causes... Yeah, exactly. Okay. So studying different neurotransmitters and how the brain affects behavior.
Okay.
I went on to graduate school after that in clinical psychology, pursued, my license, became a licensed psychotherapist, and along the way, I also, kind of as like a side gig to get me through grad school, became a spin instructor, so I did that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I've been, I played field hockey in high school, and when I got to college, you come to Boston and it's the marathon, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I was like, yeah, I wonder if I could do this. And I was like, all right. I'm going to do it.
I'm going to run 26 miles for the heck of it. Sure,
26.2, those 0.2 matter.
I know.
So I did. I trained, and it was an unbelievable experience. I've done a few.
Well, it's hard to qualify for the Boston Marathon, isn't it?
And it's getting harder, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I've run Boston 4 times. I've done a bunch of marathons, but for me, it's definitely more of the mental health benefits and the sense of connection that comes with fitness, which is why I feel that fitness and wellness are all in the same bubble.
So wellness is more of the psychological, the mental health, and fitness is more of the physical component.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were like interchangeable. So
Yeah.
just learned something.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of already mentioned how the two are linked, and what made you want to pursue keeping both of them together, and not just focus on mental and just not focus on running the marathon? Now, are there other sports that you're involved in as well?
I mean, I love lifting weights. I love yoga. I love cycle, all these things. And then hiking, anything that brings joy is what I think the goal of fitness should be. And what was the original question, actually?
Well, what made you continue to pursue those two elements together?
So,
because yes, there's a connection, but it seems like a novel idea.
Totally.
That, wow, we're just gonna not just focus on physical fitness.
Yeah, and it's shocking to me that that is a novel idea. But I'm realizing, people don't actually think of fitness as something that's enjoyable necessarily.
I gotta do this because my
I know. And so for me, I mean, it's two things. One, it's my personal journey of growing up and feeling so powerless, growing up in a house with severe mental illness, feeling very trapped and very scared and weak, like there was nothing I could do to kind of take care of myself. I found that through running and lifting weights and things like that I gained a lot of physical strength that helped me feel mentally strong and vice versa. So I felt like when I'm out running, I'm moving my body, I'm feeling powerful, I'm literally outrunning the dark.
Okay. And you're in control.
Yeah. And the weightlifting, it just feels good to feel strong when you feel mentally.
To hurt myself, weightlifting or something,
Well, that's why, it helps to have a trainer or learn how to do it properly. But the other part of it honestly came with the pandemic when I was doing a lot of psychotherapy, virtually. And then I went back and started teaching classes again. We were all masked up and everything, but 13 feet apart. Yeah. Right. But I found that coaching classes and bringing people together through this fitness experience finally brought joy and levity and happiness and relief to people in such a powerful way. And it made me realize, wow, there's so much more to exercise than just sweating. It's about, exactly. It's about seeing people that you recognize and that are happy to see you. It's about building that connection, that shared, exuberance, that shared euphoria of, wow, I feel really good after what I just did. The endorphins are flowing. And what you do physically absolutely impacts how you are mentally and how you function. You are a better, happier, stronger, more positive person for everybody in your life who needs you when you do that for yourself, when you feel your best.
Kind of like the empty cup cannot fill.
Yeah.
So running in the rain isn't necessary?
punishment.
Well, for some people it is, when you're running a marathon.
Sure, but you're talking about obligatory, punishing, miserable exercise versus joyful movement. And that is what is different about Shift. Okay. And that is the core message at Shift: joyful movement, community-based, mental health focused.
So what made you decide to establish Shift as like a brick and mortar gym? Is it a gym? Is it a studio?
Studio. I like the word studio, yeah. Frankly, I think the fitness industry needs to change. Okay. I have had so many bad experiences with being told, you can't even imagine how many negative things have been said. You're not good enough, your voice is annoying, nobody wants to talk about mental health. Mental health doesn't belong in the fitness space. You sound like a therapist when you're coaching. That's what I would hear from managers. But what I heard from members who I was coaching was that these classes were helping them. And they felt like a better version of themselves walking out than when they walked in. And
sometimes that's
and I was like, okay, so I'm on to something, and I care about what the members think. And if they're having this wonderful experience, something's got to change.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the punishing, grueling, guilt-infused kind of mentality. The diet industry is terrible. So focusing on calorie burning and earning your meal and working off a dessert, I think that's crap. I think it is a terrible way to approach your relationship with exercise.
Okay.
There's room for everything. Enjoy your dessert and look at it as fuel for your workout the next day. Like, don't punish yourself. Come in and do an exercise, whether that's running or cycling or yoga or dancing or going for a hike, but whatever brings you joy. That's the goal, not punishment.
Cool.
It is cool.
So, backing up a little bit.
Yeah.
Your educational training is in psychology and neuropsychology. In order to be a fitness instructor, what kind of training or licensing or coursework did you have to do on that side of things?
So there's many approaches. For cycle, you can go through any number of cycle-specific training programs. And then for group fitness, there's different certifications. So depending on what you want to teach and coach, you can get certified. And so I have a group fitness certification. I have actually a meditation and relaxation strategies certification. And then I have the cycle certification. So a little bit of everything.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if you get people like me to come to the Shift studio, I wouldn't know how not to hurt myself.
Yeah.
So I would hope and trust you to keep me from causing damage.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
For sure. It's really important. And I think that's the other thing that I've observed is kind of a lack of attention to reading the room, like understanding how people are moving and understanding what they need and reading their body language. Is someone really struggling with what they're doing? Do they look miserable? Is their form deteriorating? Do they look exhausted? Then don't push someone who is not ready to be pushed, whether it's physically or mentally. So take the time and understand each person and be willing to be flexible. I've met too many people who make the experience of teaching about themselves, right? There are a lot of instructors who get up there and they're doing it for their ego versus people who get up there and are instructing for their members, right? And there's a big divide, and I've seen too much of the kind of diva mentality, and I'm done with that.
Stick a fork in me.
Yeah.
What was the journey like to go from concept of I want to open this safe space and community space to getting up enough courage to do it?
Oh, it wasn't a choice. The way I look at it is it was not a choice.
Okay.
It wasn't like, oh, I want to do this. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, I'll just do it on a whim. It was being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed aside and being provoked and being told you can't do this and you're not good enough to be here, to make me think, okay, that is my sign that I am just going to go and create this space that I've been told nobody wants. I don't believe that because I'm listening to what people want, right?
Okay.
I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this based on the needs of everybody I've ever met who is looking for an opportunity to connect with other people, to feel less pressured to perform and to just show up as they are, no matter how they're feeling, and know that they're welcome there. And it's funny what you said about a safe space, because that's when you walk into Shift, one of the first things you'll see is this is a safe space.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have like a little flag hanging up that says it.
I did not go there and spy on you. I really didn't.
I wouldn't mind if you did, but that's really funny. So it literally says it right when you walk in. Yeah.
How did you go about identifying a space and obtaining the equipment and
Oh my God.
knowing what equipment to get?
Yeah.
And are you still doing this solo, or did you get like a staff?
It has been.
Did you also have to go out and get a business degree? I can barely balance my checkbook.
Right. I have no business background. I toyed with, having a business partner. It didn't really work out, and I was not going to let that deter me. I was hell-bent on this mission, and I said, no matter what, I'm going to make it happen. So yeah, it wasn't a choice. It was something that had to happen. It's been a year plus in the making.
Okay, that was going to be my next one. I'm like, is this like a 5-year thing that you were?
I've always dreamed of it on some level.
But the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back was about a year ago. Ish?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the voices of people who
just enough's enough.
Yeah, enough's enough, and I will say this. When I say something out loud, I always tell my kids this: I will not make a promise out loud if I can't keep it. So even when my kids are like, can we get pizza for dinner? I won't say yes unless I'm 100% positive, because I don't break promises.
Okay.
And last summer, so I am an ambassador for Lululemon, which has been an amazing opportunity.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And at this retreat that we went to, everyone had to write down their biggest life goal.
Okay.
And I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna open a mental health-based cycle studio. And I got up, and they almost kind of made you pull the fear out and just smack it in the face and say it, speak into action what you want to manifest. And I said, okay, fine. I am going to open a mental health focused studio that's never been done before. And then after that, it was like, oh my God, what did I just say? Because if I said this out loud, I have to do this.
Exactly.
And so
here you are.
There you go.
Here you are. So, but I'm seeing you on social media, and there was a lot of other community events, community participation that you did even before Shift was announced.
Yeah.
So tell me, I'm bouncing all over the place.
It's okay.
Okay, so your mission on your website says that it's not the workouts or the diet that's important, it's a sense of community. So what kind of role do diet and exercise play in the bigger picture?
That's a great question. The role that they play is that these are two elements in your overall concept of wellness that are important, but that need to be approached gently, positively. I do not believe in restriction. I do not believe in diets. I do not believe in good versus bad versus clean versus dirty eating. I hate all of those terms. Food is not a moral issue. Eating pizza is not a moral issue.
It's not a crime.
I just had pizza for dinner and I had dessert before I got here. And
now I have cookies.
I know, and it's because it's so important that you learn that you're allowed to live your life. And I know, from psychology and personal experience that when you restrict something, it only increases the craving.
Exactly.
And it makes you feel terrible, and life is short.
Or you feel like a failure if you did have that pizza.
Exactly, and it's like, well, have pizza, have your salad with it, enjoy it, go, move your body in a joyful way that makes you feel uplifted and strong, and find the balance within yourself. And I know that seems overly simplified, but there's ways to do it. And I think it really starts with feeling happy and centered within yourself. And that comes from being around positive people and truly, I'm not a toxic positivity person. I hate the fake, good vibes only. Like, we have to be happy all the time, because that's not reality. Be real. But know that everything's going to be okay.
Look for the positive in anything.
Yeah, it's there. You have to look for it, but it's there.
Sometimes it's really hard.
It is really hard. It is really hard, yes.
Who's your client base? Who's your target audience? How do people find you? And how do they, is it class-based, or is it like show up and here's a checklist? Or tell me more.
No, I'm not.
So what happens after I pass the big banner of this is a safe space?
Right. You are immediately going to feel welcomed, because it's warmth, it's connectivity, it's authenticity. So you're my target, okay? You're my target audience, my clientele. People who just want to be there, who are open-minded. What I don't want is someone coming in who is going to ruin the atmosphere for everyone else, someone who's going to be totally serious and, punishing and grueling and, pushes someone off a bike because that's their bike. I have no tolerance for childish behavior. I have no tolerance for diva attitudes. I just don't. I want people who are going to come in and say, oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you. And hey, wow, great job today. And wow, I noticed man, you're lifting heavier weights now. That's awesome. Yeah. And I'm just so proud of you for showing up today, because I know you've had a hard week. So it's
positive reinforcement is just like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the structure to find out if Shift is a good fit?
Well, I know it's ridiculous coming from me because I'm very biased, but I've created the studio in such a way that it's a good fit for anybody, any age, any ability, including zero athletic ability, any level of experience, any age. The classes are such that I can connect with someone who has never stepped foot in a fitness facility before, as well as a top level athlete, and they're both going to walk out of there feeling like they got what they came for.
Would they be in the same class?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
How do you adjust for that?
It's all on the coaching.
Okay.
It's not the equipment. The equipment, anybody can sit on a bike and move your legs. How much resistance you add, how hard you make it, that's up to you. You can have two people on polar opposite ends of the spectrum sit on bikes next to each other and they're in control. I'm not turning, I'm not sticking weights in your hand. You choose.
Oh,
but it's all in the coaching. And if you have a coach who's screaming at you that you're, go harder, do more, blah, 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 drill sergeant type. Some people like that, but most don't.
Not really.
You find ways, like the coaching is so important that you find a way to connect with people that helps them pull out their best self. You're wanting them to overcome the challenges.
Okay.
But not hurt themselves.
Okay.
So and I'm telling you now, and if you come to Shift, you'll hear me say this again. The one rule two rules I have in class. You gotta have fun today.
Okay.
And the second rule is that if your body is telling you to stop or to modify, listen to you.
Okay.
But if your mind is telling you to stop, listen to me.
Ooh, I like that. I really do, because it makes a lot of sense.
There's a big difference between what you can't do versus what you just don't want to do. And so I encourage people to tap into that. Is it that I physically can't do this? If that's the case, don't. Kris, I physically can't squat. My knees are really hurting. Okay, I'm going to give you an alternative.
Okay.
Versus, I just don't want to. I don't want to do this squat.
Yeah.
It's too hard. I don't like doing hard things. Well, that's when I say, okay, too bad. I love you, but you got to try it because these hard things are going to make you stronger as long as it's not physically hurting.
Right. When I was looking at the website, or even before I looked at the website, the shift with the semicolon, I do remember, I want to say historically, but it hasn't been around that long, that the semicolon is, almost like a suicide prevention thing, where it's like, it marks the end of a statement, but there's still more to continue.
It's a pause.
It's a pause. But part of me is jumping to conclusions, which I know is a really bad thing to do. The focus of Shift isn't like a therapy session, or is it? Or is it just like to raise your wellness, but it's not really, come here if you're clinically depressed and suicidal?
Right. It's all about mental health awareness.
Okay.
Solidarity, celebrating the fact that it's okay not to be okay.
Okay.
So no, it's not therapy, but it is therapeutic in the sense that, in psychology, there's this term called protective factors.
Okay.
Here's your psychology 101. Ready?
Okay.
Protective
I was also a psychology
Oh, okay,
major,
then there you go. So protective factors are elements, like things in your life, factors in your life that help kind of fortify your mental strength and your resilience.
Okay.
So of course, genetics play a huge part in mental health, but these protective factors play a huge part in our mental health. Protective factors are things like social emotional connections, sense of community, having people in your life that you trust, that you love, that you feel supported by.
Okay.
Exercise is a protective factor, physical health, feeling a sense of engagement, feeling wanted, right? Feeling like you are an important part of a social structure. So Shift serves the role of being a place that really provides a lot of these protective factors.
Okay.
And yes, the semicolon is absolutely purposeful. It did sort of start as suicide prevention because it's this idea that with a semicolon, your story is not over.
Exactly. Yeah.
A period is done. The semicolon indicates, okay, I might need a pause. I'm working on this, but my story's not over. And it has come to kind of more largely represent mental health awareness.
Okay.
And so there you have it.
So with mental health awareness, do your plans involve any kind of outreach to remind everyone that mental health is an important issue?
Oh,
And
yes.
how are you doing that?
Through the entire kind of culture at Shift,
Okay.
the mission, it is sort of a mission-based studio.
Okay.
So I'm not giving therapy, but when you come, are you going to come to my grand opening, by the way? I hope you can. It's on Sunday. Putting you on the spot.
Well, it depends on what time. No, I did not pay attention to what time it is.
I will send you the link.
Okay.
There's like 5 tickets left, so hopefully you can come.
Okay.
But you will see there are signs everywhere
Okay.
about resilience. In fact, behind the instructor bike, behind the stage, there's a sign that says, "Your mental health is a priority."
Okay.
And so there's just really positive signage everywhere, posters about tapping into your happy neurochemicals. And, think like it's okay to take a break and, check on your mental battery. So it's really in the language that we're using there and the way we're approaching fitness, not get in here, rise and grind, never miss a Monday. It's not kind of that focus.
No pain, no gain. Yeah.
No, I hate that phrase. If you're feeling pain, you're not going to gain anything. Like, don't do that. So it's about the coaching. It's about the approach. It's about how we're working together as a community. There's definitely going to be down the road, classes and workshops that are kind of tapping into healing, possibly some like trauma-informed yoga.
Okay.
I want to start a teen program that will be really great, like for teenagers to feel like they have a safe place to like move their bodies and enjoy, exercise. And then, providing resources, if needed, like, hey, here's some tips, like you could go to this website if you're having trouble, like having like posters up that have the 988 reminder. So, yeah.
Just to have it.
It's the mission.
Tell me more about Miles for Mental Health.
So that kind of goes hand in hand with Shift. Miles.
But it kind of came first.
It did come first.
Okay.
It did come first. So I founded Miles for Mental Health a year ago, and it started out with this idea of, again, joyful movement, providing a free event for the community where everybody can gather and walk, jog, run, race, skip, dance around the track. And it's at the middle school.
Oh, okay.
So
I was thinking high school for some reason.
right,
but
and
middle
the
schools?
reason I wanted to do it on a track is so that people, it's kind of like a rolling fitness festival. If people want to do a 5K, you can. If you want to do a lap, you can. If you want to do a lap or two, take a break, come back to it, great. We have my wonderful friend Adam Averbach, who's a Burlington resident as well and owns Party Excitement Entertainment.
Okay.
He's volunteered his services for mental health awareness and DJ'd the event last year. He's going to do it this year too. So we had him right in the middle of the field, blasting music while people are making their way around the track. We had all this food out from Wegmans.
Now, is it a fundraiser or is it just an awareness raiser or a little bit
Kind of both.
Okay.
And then we had some vendors set up that had different mental health resources available for people who wanted more information.
When did that happen?
So it was last October. This year it's going to be on October 20th.
Okay.
Same place.
Which is coming up soon.
Coming up soon. We actually, we only have 10 tickets left.
Wow.
We're almost sold out in about a week and a half's time, which is kind of unbelievable.
That's amazing.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see that. And yeah, it's family friendly. I loved seeing people come with their kids, stroller friendly, wheelchair friendly, dog friendly.
Okay.
Come, and it's just this show of support for mental health solidarity. It was just such a beautiful thing. And honestly, Linda, to see the reaction of people in the community who said, we need more of this.
Okay.
When are you going to do this again? I mean, at the end of the event, people are like, please do this again. Can we do more of this? And when I hear that, it makes me think, people want this. Yeah. People just need permission almost to know that they can talk about these things. It's okay.
I don't know if it's necessarily permission, but just realize that they're not the only ones thinking about it.
Yes, right,
it's
that
like,
they're not alone.
Wait, you think that too?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm normal?
Yeah.
And I think
it's validation.
Yeah.
That's a better word. Validation, I think, for what we all feel, but no one talks about. And we're going to change that.
Do you think the whole pandemic brought or helped to accelerate the process of mental health awareness? Or do you think it was just the time has come?
I think so, in part. It was a collective trauma, right? Nobody escaped.
Right.
The true trauma of living through COVID. And I knew when we were going through it, I said, we are all going to have some level of post-traumatic stress from that, some more than others, especially our youth. And I do think that we started having more conversations around mental health coming out of COVID and beyond, and I'm glad for that. I'm obviously sad it had to happen that way, but
I don't want to go into another global pandemic, but
no, I do think
if any good did come out, I think it was raising that awareness, because
I absolutely see that.
People were trapped in, the same house, in the same quarters, and nobody knew what was going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
And I think that just kind of elevated it.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, well, that just made your life a little easier. not saying that, but so in order to participate in, what was it, Miles for Mental Health.
Yeah.
Do you have to be a member of SHIFT?
No. Miles for Mental Health is just open to the community. This is a wonderful free event for anyone in the Burlington community and beyond. So the reason I said that it kind of goes hand in hand with SHIFT is because after the great success of Miles for Mental Health, and again, kind of realizing something needs to be done with the industry, I decided to create SHIFT to do more of this.
Right, and it's not just a once-a-year event.
Exactly. It's ongoing.
Okay.
And at SHIFT, we actually, I created, so in addition to the classes that will be inside, we're also going to have a once-a-week social walk club called Miles for Mental Health.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have our own little club, which we actually had our first one yesterday, and everyone decided to walk, and it was fantastic. And no one was in the mood to run. It was wonderful. Some people brought dogs, and we went for a really beautiful walk, and we socialized and caught up, and it was everything you want exercise to be.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
So can we shift back over to SHIFT, and what kind of classes are offered?
So it was important to me to offer a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Because some people hate cardio, right? Some people hate yoga. Some people hate weightlifting. So I didn't want to just make it one.
Don't mean to interrupt, but is there music that's played?
Yes.
Okay.
Music is foundational. In fact, we've set up, the speakers are awesome, and the lighting is chef's kiss. So yes, there is.
So
it's a nice divide of about a third of the classes will be spin, so cycle.
Okay.
A third will be yoga and meditation.
Okay.
And a third will be weightlifting, but when I say that, I'm not talking about powerlifting. It's not lift as much as you can.
Or like free weights or?
There will be free weights, body weight. I have these things called BOSU trainers, which are like those half dome.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because again, what I've paid attention to is the need to incorporate more balance work, especially as we get older.
Oh, yeah.
And you lose your balance, and falls are, I think, like the #1 cause of injury in older adults.
Okay.
So working on balance, working on core exercises without having to do any sit-ups. Like there's so many fun things you can do with core just by standing on one of those BOSUs. So it's split up really nicely.
Okay.
And the cycle classes, what makes them different from any other is that they're mood-based.
Okay, so you need to explain that.
So the classes one is going to be called Rage, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's like you're having a day.
Idol.
Yeah, like you're like, I just had an absolute terrible day, and I'm gonna just beat up on the bike, and we're gonna play like crazy, intense, hardcore music and rage.
Okay.
Then there will be Euphoria, which is going to be kind of like club vibes, like you're kind of like EDM type of like beat drops, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. And then the other class will be Retro, which is just going to be super fun. That's going to be like all throwbacks.
Okay.
Songs where you're like, oh my God, I know every word to this song. So we'll do different decades, like 70s, 80s, 90s jams, you know, so
Might
fun.
have to go back in the, disco era of 70s
for sure, exactly. So like different eras, different decades, different themes, but retro will be kind of like fun, carefree, like almost like you could sing, have fun with it. The yoga will be a beautiful combination. No heated, not power yoga, but more gentle, restorative, some Reiki infused yoga, some kind of more strength-based yoga. Some will be really much more meditative. I have two amazing yoga instructors who are coming on board, who I'm absolutely honored to have coaching for me. So yeah, it'd be great.
All right. Open gym style, or is it all classes? Or?
They're all classes for now.
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, if someone was like, you know what, I just want to come in and use the equipment, I'd be fine with that. But we'll get to that down the road. Okay. To start, it's all class-based.
Because I'm thinking, yoga is something that you kind of need the instruction, but something like Rage, just throw your headset on, or your ear pods, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going back to the 80s when it was still like the Walkmans.
I know it.
With the classes themselves, are they different levels of ability, or is it? I think we already talked about this, but just remind me. Mm-hmm. This cycling class fits in with my schedule. I'm going to go here.
Yes, that. All abilities, every class, all abilities. Okay. And again, I don't want people who are brand new or who are very advanced to worry, because the way we will be coaching will get you where you need to be. It will be approachable to everyone. There are ways to do it. So any class will be fantastic for whatever.
For any level.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned that it was more of if I show up, or when I show up, you'll work with me and say, okay, maybe you should start here.
Yeah.
And then it's up to me to either push myself a little further or just say, no, I'm happy here. Yeah. So it's more of, because I'm thinking, how would you guide someone when they show up and they're just like, okay, help me out here.
Yeah.
I'm completely lost.
Yeah. So it's through coaching. It's, a lot of times I'll go over to someone who really has no idea what the heck I'm telling them to do, and I'll do it right next to them. I demo. So an important part of the coaching is to demo it, is to do it with them. Show you what's a hammer curl. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to do it with you. right? It's lifting the weights this way, like candlesticks. It's verbal cueing. It's physical demonstrating. And then, you know, I'll like turn the mic off and go, if I see someone struggling, I'll come up to them and say, okay, try it this way. And like, is it okay if I put my hand on your arm, and I'll show them. And if they're like, oh, this just doesn't feel good, I'll say, okay, drop it. Let's try this instead. But you have to pay attention to what people are doing, and you have to care about them. And, you know, it's funny, when I've coached before, I get to know people so well that I literally know like every person's injury, like previous injury or limitation.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you need a book to write on all mine.
You know, but seriously, but like I get to know people because I care about them, and I think they feel that, and they don't feel scared to come in because like they know I'm not going to make you do something that you can't do. You're not disappointing me. Like no, just show up. Even if you just want to show up and lay on your mat because you just need to get out of your house, fine. You can do that.
Never happens. What are the class sizes? Because even if, you know, because you are able to remember everybody's background, you can't possibly do it with like 20 people.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
Unless you have a death wish, but so what are the class sizes? And you know, cycling versus yoga.
Yeah. It's a great question. The cycle is limited to 16 just because I have 16 bikes. And they take up quite a lot of space.
That seems kind of big, but okay.
Yeah. And so it'll be like half the studio, and then the other half will be the yoga and the weight classes and the core balance classes, and that I have 20 spaces.
Okay.
So.
All right. The real question is, do you have full-size mirrors?
Yes.
Those scare me.
Why?
Because I look in the mirror and I see 50-something-year-old me.
Yeah.
But I want to see the 20-something-year-old me. And that just like kills my mood. I took a dance class for a while, and it's like, okay, I'm dancing next to people who are like less than half my or more than half my age, you know, and it's like, I remember when I was that age. I remember when I was that physically fit, and not anymore.
Yes, but what can you do now that you think you can't? Let's prove whatever thoughts you have wrong. The mirrors are there, and let me tell you what a process it was to put these mirrors up. So I hope you like them, because it was hell on earth to get those things up.
No.
But they're there not for vanity. It's not. It is honestly for safety. It's so you can check your form. Because a lot of people, you know, especially if they're lifting, they'll hunch forward, or they'll kind of be droopy, or they'll be out of alignment, and that's dangerous. And you can set yourself up for injury. So I like people to check their form, or I like to be able to see the person in the back. I like to see their form to make sure we're pulling our shoulders back and you're keeping your chin elevated and your posture is good. It's really for safety. It helps people make sure they're doing the moves correctly, but don't compare your, I mean, that's where, and again, this is where the coaching comes in, but when you compare yourself to anyone else, you're going to feel defeated before you've given yourself a chance to prove that you can do it. And I'm sure you've heard the whole expression of, you know, if you spend all your time focusing on your neighbor's garden, your own is going to die out, right? So why are you worried about, like, focus on yours, water your plants, tend to your garden, take care of it, and see what happens. Like, these things that you believe, I think you'd be shocked at how wrong those thoughts are.
You're opening up this weekend.
Yes.
Or you aren't, but the shift is opening up this weekend. What kind of introductory package, introductory opportunities do people have when they walk in the door?
So for the grand opening party, it's really just, it's a party on Sunday. This is just going to be, come check out the space. We're going to have some giveaways. It's going to be social, food, drink, the whole thing.
Okay.
But beyond that, classes actually start on Tuesday, and 7 days a week there's classes. Everybody can come for a first class free, and that's on the website. There's no like introductory packages beyond that because I'm just not into gimmicks. I find that when you try to lure people in by promising them things or bribing them, it's kind of the wrong motivation, honestly.
Okay.
So I want people to come who want to come. I don't want to have to force someone to come if they're like, yeah, I'm just going to come because it's cheap or I'm going to get a prize for it. No, I want you to come because you want to be part of something special and something that's never been done before. So first class free, and then there's a few different membership options. You can come like once a week, or you can come unlimited, basically. Yeah.
And what happens if you do injure yourself and you need to take well, not you, but
no problem.
I need because I had belonged to a studio.
Yeah.
And I injured my knee. Turns out, it took 6 months to figure out that I tore my meniscus, but that's another story. And I'm like, I really don't think you want me coming to your class with a knee brace on.
Right.
And they made me get a note from my doctor. And then, so they would not charge me to take a break.
Yeah.
And then when I did find out that I was, seriously injured, I'm like, look, this isn't going to work. I need to cancel my membership. And they're like, well,
they made it impossible.
You need another note from your doctor, or else you have to pay this fee.
Awful.
So I'm just wondering, what happens if you do just...
Then I trust you, and I say, okay, there's no contract. It's month to month. And again, it's because I'm trusting that people are coming because they want to come.
Okay.
I don't want to twist anyone's arm, and I know I'm taking a big risk by not, locking people in.
It's
but
that
I'm like,
trust that people appreciate.
Yeah. I'm trying something different, which is connection and authenticity. And it's like, look, you pay for 1 month at a time. If you come and you're like, Kris, I'm injured, or this isn't working for me, okay. It's all right. You don't have to renew. Like, if you want to come back, I'm here, but I am never going to force people, and I'm definitely not going to nickel and dime or make you pay or get notes. Like, if you're hurt or injured, I mean, seriously, like, if you're making up the fact that you're injured, then you shouldn't come anyway, because something's wrong.
Yeah.
I want people to feel like they can be honest, like, Kris, this isn't working, or hey, it's, this is something I'm having trouble with here, and let's either figure it out, or you can cancel if you just really, it doesn't work for you, but I'm gonna trust people coming in. That's a really important part of it to me.
Because as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, what about like switching levels? Like, okay, I'm gonna try this one for right now. I can only do once a week.
Yep.
And then, oh, well, it's summertime and I'm a school teacher. I'm not, but I'm a school teacher. I have all this time available.
Exactly.
I want to come more during the summer months.
Yeah, that's totally an option. I've had a few people actually who've signed up already say that, like, hey, if I start out here, is it okay? Is there an option to switch? Yeah, of course. Like, I don't want to make this, the idea is this is the opposite of miserable. Like, this is supposed to be your happy place. Like, this is, I want you to want to come here as much as you want to come here.
That works.
Yeah.
All right, as I was looking through your website, looking at the different class options, what is a Normatec recovery boot?
Right. So I know it's kind of wild.
I'm thinking Norway and moon boots or something. I'm like,
well, kinda. You might be onto something there. They are absolute heaven. So Normatec's, it's this compression system.
Okay.
So you put these leg sleeves on. It goes like from toes up to your hips, and it's like a little like you push this button basically, And these compression sleeves, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's almost like, like those blood pressure monitors.
Oh my gosh, you get those in the hospital, like prevent blood clots.
Yeah, it squeezes your muscles and your legs, and you can pick like how intense you want it to be, but it basically flushes the lactic acid out of your muscles. It helps recover. Like if you have sore muscles, it helps you recover quicker. These things are the most luxurious thing, and it feels like a leg massage, really.
Do you wear them while you're
No. You lay, I have a beautiful chair. You lay back, you turn on, the thing, relax, they'll get you a nice drink, and you enjoy yourself for 20 minutes or however long. Yeah, they're unbelieveel.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like,
that's really cool.
They're very, very, very zen. Oh, and you feel like your legs feel so refreshed after. So yeah.
That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like going to get a pedicure just so I could sit in that chair for an hour.
Right. These things are that like times 100.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your grand opening is, your grand opening celebration is this weekend. Classes start October 1st. Where do you see yourself or where do you see the studio, or you, or both, in a year? Where do you want to see it?
Oh, I want to see it thriving with happy people who have redefined their relationship with their bodies and with exercise, who are coming in and have made friends and made connections and are like, this is just such a happy experience. I want people to just be absorbed in the music and come up with ideas and tell me, what they're getting out of it, and just share that, because energy is contagious. And I want people to exchange that energy with each other. Nothing makes me happier than seeing those connections form between people. So that's what I see, is just this, it's almost like alive, like Shift is like a living entity in itself, thriving with that contagious positive energy. That's what I see.
Cool. So I have a feeling that the same thing is going to be the answer to my 5-year question.
Yeah, expanded.
Okay.
Right, so right now it's 16 bikes and 20 yoga mats and Bosu balls and all that. Let's make it bigger.
Okay.
Let's add more classes. Let's add more instructors. Let's spread this mission. I want, and it's so funny, obviously, like, Taylor Swift, that people call themselves Swifties. I'm hoping to get people to, call themselves Shifties. And I want Shifties out there spreading the word about mental health awareness. I'm here, I'm moving my body for my mental health. And it's okay to show up if I'm in a bad mood. And it's okay if I am struggling. And it's okay to share that. And it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to ask other people how they're doing.
Okay.
And it's okay to enjoy cookies. Okay. And it's okay.
Are you going to have cookies there?
I'm absolutely going to have treats. For sure. I love baking.
No pressure.
So you can be sure this is the Vermont in me. I make homemade granola, and I make banana chocolate chip muffins, and I make all kinds of yummy things. So there will be fun treats and holiday fun, like, theme. I'm a big theme person, so themes and all that good stuff. So yeah.
You know what? We're out of time.
It did go fast.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda.
Your enthusiasm is definitely contagious. And I really see this as an opportunity for not only you, but for our community.
Thank you. I really hope so. I believe in it.
Yay! All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. I hope you are looking forward to shifting the cycle of mental and physical health. And I hope you can get outside, enjoy the fresh air, and have a great night. See you around town. Good night.